Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second part of the Testament of Solomon live reading stream on the CM Kozeman channel. Welcome, everybody. This is your host, CM Kozeman, speaking. Tonight we'll be going live again, reading one of the strangest, weirdest, and dare I say, kinkiest books of the ancient world, the Testament of Solomon, where Solomon, the great ruler, summons and summarily disses a large number of very strange demons. And before we officially get this show on the road, I would like to thank you all for coming here. Thank you to Robotipi. Thank you to Blake Richardson. He also just commissioned me a great artwork. So yeah, if you're watching on YouTube later, please consider supporting me on Patreon or buy me a coffee or get some of my merchandise. Hello, says Ocelot. Hello, says Clam James. Hello, says Dan McAleer. Hello, says Jack Green Learn. We're already a nice crowd in here. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So before beginning, I have some good news and some nice stuff to show you. But before that, I'm going to get coffee. And in the meantime, why don't you maybe consider supporting me, buying me a coffee? Or if you can't, just enjoy yourself and please call your friends on your Discord, on your WhatsApp, or whatever you use. Blake Richardson says, did you get your payment yet? Yes, I did, actually. It came through, and thank you so much. Oh my God. Yeah. I got a nice message saying I FW with this post so hard. Okay. All right. An honor. Good afternoon, Kozeman, says Cookies. Hello, hello, hello. All right. I'm going to get some coffee. And yeah, I got a summer cut. Thank you. I'll be back. We'll shoot the shit. Enjoy and get everybody in this room right away. Okay. Good afternoon, good day, everybody. We're officially on. 10 of you watching, and it's just wonderful. Cookies says, good to see you have a summer cut. So, before officially beginning, I would just like to call out my good friend and viewer of this channel, Ali Esser, for an incredible donation and a gift. I'm just going to have to show it to you. Yeah. So the other day I got a call from my mailing address and they said, "Sir, you got a delivery." Oh, I said, "Wow, okay." And it's from Ankara. And who should it be but my good online friend, Ali Eser, a real big comics aficionado. And he was very generous. So he sent me this enormous gift pack showing, containing an Italian edition, or maybe French, yeah, a French edition of Elifteri Serpieri's incredible Druna book. Well, this is just a fantastic and incredible sci-fi story. Well, it's erotica masquerading as sci-fi, but it's got all the goodness you can expect from something like this, hot nubile woman, casual but inconsequential violence, tentacles, stuff like this. And this stuff was out in the 1970s, and it's like it forged a genre. And well, I mean, just it's just a wonderful book. Thank you for this thing. I really love Druna. I really love Serpieri. Thank you. But that's not it. Then he sent me a Turkish edition of this very nice and frankly, to me, unknown comic called Toppi. And I just have to read this to find out what's going on in here. But it's really mystical and moody, and the art is just wonderful. I mean, just check this out. Yeah. Boris Chonev says, Mr. Kozman, I see you're streaming on YouTube again, and as always, the topic is not too far from erotica. I'm sorry, look, you just come in on the wrong moments. We've been having a very erudite, educated, scholarly mysticism stream, and you just happen to come in on this one part when a fan of this channel sent me a bunch of comics, one of which happened to contain a little spicy stuff, Just about the timing, I guess. But that's not the end of Ali Esser's gifts. He also sent me a perfect edition of Chaos by Mobius, and it's just a wordless, dreamy art book, just like marvelous. And of course, Mobius is like one of the OG great granddaddies of sci-fi art and comics. He also sent me a Turkish edition of Gone, the comic, which has the famous big-headed dinosaur getting into grotesque altercations with very realistically drawn animals. So there's that. It's the Turkish edition, but this comic contains no words. So yeah. And then he sent me a Turkish edition of Inkal the Black by Mobius and Jodorowsky. So what an incredible, I got my summer comic reading down here ready, thanks to Ali Esser. He also sent me this really nice letter saying, in one of your streams, you told me you were not much of a comics guy. I still am not, but doesn't mean I don't appreciate your gift. For this reason, I'm sharing some of my favorite books with you. Not all of them are in English, but I hope you like them. Thanks. Best of luck from Ankara. Lots of love, Ali Esser. Thank you so much. And I mean, I have gotten a lot of very nice fan art some of which I have yet to show actually. But Ali Eser made this really cool drawing of me with in a kind of like as a Xeno explorer kind of figure. I don't know. So this is like a really humbling gift. Thank you. And as an artist too, Ali Eser is incredibly talented. It's very hard to draw a real person's face on a fantasy setting without the lines looking copy and pasted. So thank you. This is one of my most generous gifts. I am going to archive this in my library. The only reason I don't hang it up on my walls is because, well, having my own portraits in my own studio is kind of, it smacks of egotism, but this is a really heartfelt gift, and I'm really happy to have received it. So thank you. And yeah, it's really nice as a channel to have gifts like this. And if you want to send me a physical in IRL gift, just let me know, and I will send you my mailing details and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, that was the preamble. I hope everybody's doing great. 13 people in the house. Just checking some messages before we get really going with the dramatic reading. Just let me take care of this thing. Just a second. All right. Eating some veggies for lunch, says Lorelai Sinal. Yeah, well, these are just cucumbers to get my vocal cords unlocked. So yeah. Let's do the traditional roll call before going ahead with the presentation. And yeah, we are doing the Testament of Solomon. Let's hear where everybody is from, though, and then we will get this show on the road. Where is everybody hailing from? I probably know all of you in person now, but still, for posterity. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Blake Richardson from Michigan, USA. Boris Chonev from Bulgaria, but in Germany. Jagreen Learn from New Jersey, US. Ellie Brooks from Erie, Pennsylvania, my favorite state. Dan McAleer from Scotland. Ocelot from Ukraine. Hang in there. I hope things are great. Well, as great as they can be. Oh, in Germany right now. Okay. Well, it's good to know you're safer, but yeah. Cookies is from North Carolina. We got how many states? One, Michigan, New Jersey, PA, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Tennessee. Oh, Donkey Kong Max is from Tennessee. 5 states represented. Really nice. Well, where would I be without my American and British Isles friends? Really, I mean, since the day I was online, 70%, perhaps even more, of all my audience comes from the States. The remaining 20% comes from the Anglo world, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and then maybe 2% comes from Turkey. And these Turkish people say, "Oh, why aren't you streaming Turkish, brother?" Well, I mean, you can pander to your insular masses. I'm in the export business over here. Clam James, Ireland, now and forever. Yes. Cookie says, Free Cosman States of America. Well, yeah. One day I will join you all and we'll have a live event, a book signing, or I don't know, a meetup or some stuff. Okay, let's go. Let's do a little kind of preview. The Book of Solomon is a very strange book. The Testament of Solomon. There are numerous books purported to be written by or about Solomon, but we are doing the Testament of Solomon now. And it's a very strange book. It's a book, a personal account of the great prophet figure Solomon as he captures and torments and puts to work a large number of demons to build his famous temple in Jerusalem. We are reading from the F.C. Conybeare translation found in esotericarchives.com. I hope you can read the text, by the way. KS says, hello, 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 hello. And if you're interested in magic, esotericism, and the history of the occult, please also consider watching the Esoterica channel on YouTube, run by Dr. Justin Sedge. I don't know him in person or online, but it's a great resource. If you want to dip any fingers or toes into esoteric or mystic lore, you have to start from Esoterica, because there's a lot of bullshit about these things online. Like these days, you go around in the street, every third person is into Gnosticism or something, but do you really know what those things are? Does anyone? So yeah, that's the preamble. So we read until half of the book, basically. Where Solomon was summoning and kind of like dealing with a lot of weird demons, including a creature without a head and a group of 7 hot girls who talk and speak as one, and they're just bad, just bad. And also an incredible demoness called Onoskelis, which is just from the name alone, Anyways, so that's what Solomon was up to. And in our last episode, this is really episodic, by the way, Solomon spoke to a demon named Rabdos, who guided him directions to a kind of green stone in a mountain. And basically, he retrieved the green stone and put it into his temple. And then, this is where we were. Oh, wait. He also dealt with this other demon called Wrath. And he had armies, but he was defeated by the name of Jesus himself, which was what kind of locked this story down as a kind of Christian angled story. So yeah, Ozan Çelikdemir says, what are you eating? I am eating cucumbers. Ellie Brooks says, bring back Onoskelis. Onoskelis, best girl. I mean, look. I've known people with those attributes, and they're hard to forget. It's all I will say on the matter. Yes. Okay, so here we go. I'm just getting into character now. And I worshipped the Lord God of Israel and bade another demon come forward. Remember, this guy has the demons and the bitches lined up. And there came before me a dragon, three-headed, of fearful hue. So motherfucker summons King Ghidorah, three heads and a weird color. And I questioned him, who are you? And the demon answered me, I am a caltrop like spirit, whose activity is in three lines. But I blind children in women's wombs and twirl their fucking ears around, and I make them deaf and mute. And I have again in my third head a means of slipping in, just, and I smite men in the limbless part of the body, cause them to fall down and foam and grind their teeth. But I have my own way of being frustrated. That is to say, with Jerusalem being signified in writing unto the place called of the head. For there is four appointed the angel of the great council, and now he will openly dwell on the cross. He does frustrate me, and to him I am subject. So King Ghidorah here calls himself a caltrop like spirit. And caltrops are these like spiky things that were used as weapons of war in the ancient world. They were meant to pierce the feet of horses. And basically, this guy, I don't know why he calls himself a caltrop like spirit. I imagine maybe with three heads and the other legs, he kind of rolls around like that. Interesting. But he's mostly a personification of disease, and apparently the name of Jerusalem and or the form of Jesus maybe frustrates him. And remember, all these angels have something that frustrates them or like removes their power. So that is that. Donkey Kong Max says, as a dark-skinned person, I have no previous religious affiliation with Onoskelis, and people are sending me lots of hearts. That's lovely. Thank you. I love you back. And yeah, so that is that. So keep going. But in the place where you sit, O King Solomon, stands a column in the air, purple in color. The demon Ephipias had brought it forth from the Red Sea, from inner Arabia. He it is that shall be shut up in a skin bottle and brought before thee. But at the entrance of the temple, which you have begun to build, King Solomon, lies stored much gold, which you dig up and carry off. And I, Solomon, sent my servant and found it to be as the demon told me. And I sealed him in my ring. Remember, Solomon has this ring with this weird sign. It's meant to be a Star of David-like form, but in historic sources, sometimes this shape has really weird forms. Anyways, he rings it up. If you really fucking want to put a ring on it, and then that's how it goes. Puts a ring on the motherfucker. So basically, this other demon, or maybe the caltrop demon, says there's a floating column, so anti-gravity stuff, and then apparently this column is held in the air by this demon called Ephipias, who also is like such a nice guy that aside from defying gravity, he also says like, oh, there's some gold here. And it's a common motif, by the way. Like even in the present day in Turkey, there are lots of these mystical treasure hunters, and they go digging around in rural parts of the country looking for buried treasure. And of course, Turkey being a very storied and historic country, there's lots of treasure to be found. So people actually ask for the help of jinns and demons. This is all done under a sort of like quote unquote Muslim setting, but it's a survival from those days, that whole tradition of treasure hunters seeking the services of Demons and shit. Hep beraber. So, anyways, Solomon asks to this god, this demon, I said to him, what are you called? And the demon says, I am the crest of dragons. And I bade him to make bricks in the temple. He had human hands. Very interesting for that bit to be so memorable. Bless you, says everybody. Bless you, bless you, bless you. So this demon has human hands. The rest of him is apparently really inhuman. And I'm really uncertain if this is another demon or if he's still talking to the Caltrop demon. And everybody says, bless you. Thank you. I'm already blessed with all of you guys and gals. Zing Zing says, bless you. Thank you. The regular shrimp is okay. Okay. And I adored the Lord God of Israel and bade another demon come before me. And oh God, here we go again, came before me a spirit in woman's form, another hot girl that had a head without any limbs, and her hair was disheveled. So this is either a really messed up gore woman who's just a head and like basically like a quadriplegic amputee with all the limbs cut off, dark stuff. Or if they mean head without any limbs, maybe her eyes, like her body might be normal, but her head is missing all the limbs. That is to say, her eyes, ears, and mouth are cut off. At any rate, really a really scary apparition. Yeah. And I said to her, who are you, headless gore lady? She answered, no, who are you? Oh my God, we got another brat in the house. And why do you want to hear, what do you want to hear concerning me? But as you will learn, here I stand bound before your face. So she's all in your face about this. Go then to your royal storehouses and wash your hands. Then sit down afresh before thy tribunal and ask me questions, and you shall learn then, O king, who I am. All the female demons in the Testament of Solomon are like ultra cunty, ultra bratty, incredible. She is badass. Kotobuki says, hear me out, head and nothing but the spinal cord. Maybe, I don't know. Some sort of Penangalan or Mananangal kind of creature. These are, of course, creatures from Southeast Asian folklore. So I, Solomon, did as she enjoined me. Aha, you're not that strong. You went her way, and restrained myself because of the wisdom dwelling in me, in order that I might hear of her deeds. So this is like some OG brat tamer material right here. He's like, oh, I'm just barely restraining myself, you bad bloody girl. I'll put you to your place, but let me get your tribunal first, And I sat down and said to the demon, what are you? Okay, so they have the tribunal now, I guess. And she said, I am called among men Elbizith, and by night I sleep not, but I go my rounds all over the world and visit women in childbirth. And divining the hour, I take my stand. And if I am lucky, I strangle the child. If not, I retire to another place, for I cannot for a single night retire unsuccessful. For I am a fierce spirit of myriad names and myriad shapes. And now hither, now thither, I roam, the bad bitch roaming around. And to the western parts I go my rounds. But as it is now, though you have sealed me round with the ring of God, you have done nothing. I am not standing before thee, and you will not be able to command me. Oh God, petulant, petulant, bad, bad brat. For I have no work other than the destruction of children and the making their ears to be deaf, and the working of evil to their eyes, and the binding of their mouths with a bond, and the ruin of their minds, and the paining of their bodies. Top tier writing here. I felt good reading this, but it's really, really scary. I mean, there's not even a hyperbole angle, but it just shows back in those days what a serious deal childbirth and childhood illnesses were. And this is a demon that's so strong and so pervasive that even Solomon, in his make believe brat tamer tribunal, cannot really restrain Obizuth. And yeah, the previous demons were kind of like, haha, BPD baddies, hot, but this thing is just scary. I would not want to be around this thing. And it's just oof. Dan McAleer says, have to head off early tonight. Thanks for the stream. Yugi Mota says, hello, hello. Well, you can always catch it in the recording. And yeah. So this is a one scary bitch. And Solomon did not really put. When I, Solomon, heard this, I marveled at her appearance, for I beheld all her body to be in darkness. But her glance was altogether bright and greeny, and her hair was tossed so wildly like a dragon's, and the whole of her limbs were invisible, and her voice was very clear as it came to me. And I cunningly said, tell me by what angel you were frustrated, O bad bitch. And she answered me, by the angel of the god called Apharoth, which is interpreted to be Raphael, by whom I am frustrated now and for all time. His name, if any man know it, and write the same on a woman in childbirth, then I shall not be able to enter her. Of this name, the number is 640. This is the gematria calculation. Each letter has a number, and you add them up, and you get to these magical numbers. And I, Solomon, having heard this, glorified God and ordered her hair to be bound, does in a ponytail, like a nasty, nasty, filthy brat, and that she should be hung up in front of the temple of God, and that all the children of Israel, as they passed, might see it and glorify God, who had given me this authority, with wisdom and power from God, by means of. Oh, there's a mistake here. Okay, let me comment on what we just read. So obviously, like, preventing disease is a big deal for these people. And yeah, it's just scary. And certain details are really interesting. Like, she has green eyes. And in the Near East, to this day, green eyes are meant to be a sign of like evil people, especially in women. In fact, a few streams ago in Twitch, we were reading about this book. We were reading from this book about Istanbul's legends. And there was this one point there about green-eyed people being duplicitous or some shit. So, yeah. I'm just going to complete. Wait, I'm just going to. Bear with me, and I'm just going to read on because there's some sort of error here. Oh, it says just says by this signet. So, anyways, this limbless childbirth demon is hung up over the gate, and everybody passes under there, and they glorify God because Solomon is kind of trying to cure childhood mortality here. At this junction, you must realize, like, of course, we're laughing about the bad girl demons and like making fun of the weird details, but it seems to me this book, this story is like a parable of civilization itself. Solomon is playing a dangerous game, taming demons, curing disease, building up a big temple, collecting riches together. So it's like a parable for civilization or urban life. You cure disease, you bring riches together, and you glorify God. But it's a risky endeavor. In the previous stream, we read this passage where one of the demons says, "You're going to fail, and all the demons are going to be let loose again." And I think it's a very, very smart comment on civilization itself. The more you build, the more things you repress in, in, in medicine, but also in people's spirits. Now, when that civilization stops functioning and starts being evil, all the demons can be let loose. And maybe that's what we're seeing today. Who knows? Blake Richardson says, I remember that. I also remember the sharp tongue myth. Yeah, the referring to the green-eyed people thing. 11 people in the house. What do you think so far? I'm going to get some chocolate to get my mind going. I'm a little tired today, but I got enough energy, but I just need to get some chocolate in me. I'll be right back. But let's do this first. I again ordered another demon to come before me, and he came, rolling itself along, one in appearance like a dragon, but having the face and hands of a man, and all its limbs, except the feet, were those of a dragon, and it had wings on its back, and it was rolling, keep rolling. And when I beheld it, I was astonished, and said, Who are you, demon, and what are you called? And whence hast thou come? Tell me. So I'm going to get some chocolate, and you pick a name for this demon, and whoever is the closest, I don't know, wins an award or some shit. All right. Let me do this arrangement so I don't have to bend over for the mic to hear me. Yeah. So name suggestions for this roly-poly demon with, let's go over this again. It has got the hands and face of a human, but it also has limbs like a dragon. We don't know how many, but it also has wings, but it rolls. So for some reason, the rolling, like the theme of rolling movement just gives to me the feeling of a roly-poly creature with multiple limbs. So maybe, I'm not certain, but maybe this demon is something like this. I'm just going to do a very, very quick drawing. So I'm imagining something like this. This looks like a fucking on-frame picture, but bear with me. It was very fast. Yeah. Absent Fish comes with a very cool name for this demon called Rotatron. But yeah, I think like whatever this thing is probably looks something like this. Here's a big drawing. Vignes Rajan says, hello, first time to the stream. I've been watching your other streams and loved it. Thank you. Please share it with all your friends. And yeah, this is the rolling demon. Anyways, let's go back to our narrative and see what the demon is called. Okay. And the spirit answered and said, this is the first time I have stood before thee, King Solomon. I am a spirit made into God among men, but now brought to naught by the ring and wisdom vouchsafed in thee by God. Now I am the so-called winged dragon, and I chamber not with many women, but only with a few that are of fair shape. He just wants to fuck bad bitches, which possess the name of Zuli and of this star. And I pair with them in the guise of a spirit in winged form, Cotium habens pernates, and she on whom I have leapt goes heavy with a child. By the way, Cotium habens pernates means he literally engages in anal sex with these women. There's no easy way to say this. But here's a butt guy, here's a butt daddy, only looking for a select few bad bitches who have the name Zuli or this star. So, you know, if your name is Zuli, just be careful out there, or whatever that star is. Anyways, so wow, this roly-poly demon, he did not fucking disappoint. What a wow. I told you, look, you think about ancient books or mysticism, you think maybe it's like a little scary but kind of dry, but no, actually, these people did not play around. All business, all the time. Incredible. And she on whom I have leapt goes heavy with child, and that which is born of her becomes Eros. But since such offspring cannot be carried by man, the woman in question breaks wind. Such is my role. Suppose then only that I am satisfied, and all the other demons, molested and disturbed by thee, will speak the whole truth. But those composed of fire will cause to be burned up by fire the material of the logs, which is to be collected by them for the building in the temple, making a prophecy. So this, I mean, all I'm thinking is the Kim Petras song, Butt Slut. And yeah, it is exactly written as I just saw. Anyways, the song goes, ooh, he wanted all the time. Ooh, he wanted from behind, and I like it. Dan, 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 dan. And yeah, this is just that demon. But slut. So this is like a literal joke, because just before this, we saw this really scary things about like children dying in the bed, this woman without limbs. But now this is a ridiculous demon. The author is presumably a little homophobic, because he makes a point of saying, but you know, Man can't be, man can't carry these offspring. No, this demon is a butt fucker, but not to man, not like that. But apparently, like if he leaps on you, you become pregnant, and your butt baby, literally, we're talking about butt babies here, becomes Eros. It's the spirit. It's not very clear. And then the woman starts farting, basically. So, yeah, am I reading too much? But there seems to be this like stigma, like if a woman is farting too much, it's kind of suspected that this demon attacked her. I have no idea. Ellie Brooks says, why man can't get Gregnante? Well, that is how Babby is formed. So, yes. Let's check some messages. Like this thing might get my YouTube chat canceled, but I don't know. And as the demon said this, I saw the spirit going forth from his mouth, and it consumed the wood of the frankincense tree and burned up all the logs which we had placed in the temple of God. And I, Solomon, saw what this spirit had done, and I marveled. So he releases something from his mouth, and it burns all the frankincense trees in the temple, so that Solomon can't burn other demons in it, I guess. Also, notice how the demon says, he mentions that other demons were molested by Solomon. So apparently he wasn't just talking to those female demons, but yeah, I mean, it's heavily implied that, he really got down on those bad bitches. Oh, well. And after glorifying God for the God knows how many time, I asked the dragon-shaped demon and said, tell me, by what angel are you frustrated, you sick bastard? And he answered, by the great angel, which has its seat in the second heaven, which in Hebrew is called Bazazet. And I, Solomon, having heard this, having invoked his angel, condemned this butt fucker, and so to sew up marbles for the building of the temple of God. And I praised God, hallelujah, and commanded another demon, man, at least rest, have a break or something. What do you think so far? Eddie Book says, Zuri, the demon of beef queef. Zuri is not his name, but if your name is Zuri, he will come at you. Donkey Kong Max says, isn't it sinful to molest demons? I think we are beyond sin at this point. Donkey Kong Max asks, what's the demon's name? It's not very clear. They only called it the dragon-shaped demon. But he has a thing for women with the name Zuli. Be careful. Okay. And there came before me my face another spirit, as if it were a woman again in the form she had. He's getting so many crazy demon BPD ladies. But on her shoulder, she had two other heads with hands. Incredible. And let me draw this thing, actually. It's crazy. So, two other heads with hands. It's always a challenge to interpret these things literally, don't you think? So you're looking at something like something like Absent Fish says Solomon is restless. At this point, I think he's already desensitized and just going through motions. Yeah, like Michael Fassbender in that movie Shame. He's just addicted at this point. He just has to have his demon fix every day, sometimes multiple times per day. So this is like that demon, okay? Takuyera says it's just a day job. But she had two other heads with hands. So I don't know how that works. So here's two other heads. Okay. I'm just going to do a big screen. So here's two other heads, but it says two other heads with hands. So this is really looking like the form of the pagan goddess Hecate, by the way. Now I'm going to compare our eyewitness drawing with Hecate, and you'll be the judge of that, okay? So here's what my police eyewitness drawing of this demon looks like. Two other heads with hands, it says. So, like, there's probably other hands behind it, but they kind of reach back from the shoulders, maybe. So, what do you think about this amazing art, by the way? And now I'm going to compare this with Hecate, and well, let's see what. You Google for Hecate now, and all you get, like the first 5 rows, are shitty AI art. But where is it? Just a second. I'm collecting a bunch of Hecate pictures for you, so you get to be the best judge of what this was all about. Okay. Now I'm going to open. Okay. Let's share this. Absent Fish says, Demon, I'm a dragon with 8 human faces and the flame of an eternal star in my throat. I torture humanity and bring upon plagues. Solomon, yeah, go whatever, go make bricks or some shit. Yeah. So this is what Hecate looks like. A kind of triple-bodied, triple-headed Roman goddess. And yeah, it looks like they kind of, I mean, officer, did the demon who assault you look anything like these figures? You do the math, you do the comparison. Oh, anyways, okay, let's go back with the reading and see what the secret of this bitch is. All right. Yeah. Hecate, triple goddess, guardian of the forked roads. Well, yeah, but She's just been reduced to a demon. And yeah, she's just going to be in the Solomon work camp now. And I asked her, "Tell me, who are you?" And she said to me, "I am Enepsigos, who also have myriad names." And I said to her, "By what angel are you frustrated?" But she said to me, "What seekst? What askst you? I undergo changes, like the goddess I am called, and I change again and pass into possession of another shape. You change your mind, like a girl changes clothes, and you're up and you're down and you're out, and not to be desirous, therefore, to know all that concerns me. But since you are before me this much, hearken, I have my abode in the moon. To the moon. This is a fucking crypto e-girl demon. And for that reason, I possess three forms. At times, I am magically invoked by the wise as Kronos, and other times, in connection with those who bring me down, I come down and take another shape. Get down, and move it all around. The measure of the element is inexplicable and indefinable, not to be frustrated. I then, changing into these three forms, come down and become such as you see me. But I am frustrated by the angel Rathanael, who sits in the third heaven. This then is why I speak to thee. Your temple can't contain me. So, yeah, this is definitely Hecate turned into a demon. Customer care skeleton says, "Mother of witches, snake-tongued, my favorite Hellboy character." Compared to everything else we just saw, this is like the most innocent demon. She's just like constantly changing, full of energy, vibrant, constantly reinventing herself. Has a cool name, Enepsigos, and the angel who frustrates her really has this like kind of like peak lover boy energy name, Rathanael, who sits in third heaven, not second, third. So she's only deigning to speak to Solomon because of the name of Rathanael. Otherwise, this fucked up temple cannot contain me. Oh, well, anyways. I, Solomon, therefore prayed to God again and invoked the angel who Enepsigos spoke to me and used my seal. He's like, "Hey, Rathanael, your bitch is down here causing a scene. Come down right now." And Rathanael drives over with his Mustang, bought with 30% interest, and like, "Hey, what's going on in here?" And so he sealed her up with a triple chain and placed beneath her the fastening of the chain. I used the seal of God, and the Spirit prophesied me, saying, "This is what you, Solomon, do to us. But after a time, your kingdom will be broken. And again in season, this temple shall be riven asunder, and all of Jerusalem shall be undone by the king of the Persians and the Medes and the Chaldeans. And the vessels of this temple which you make shall be put to servile uses of the gods. And along with them all the jars in which you do shut us up shall be broken by the hands of men." This might be a foreshadowing of a nuclear attack on Israel any decade now. I don't know. All the demons are in the jars. They'll be unloosed. Really scary stuff, like chemical weapons going off and shit. "And then we shall go forth in great power hither and thither, and be disseminated all over the world," like that scene in the original Ghostbusters movie, where they unlock the ghost vault and New York is plagued by these ghosts. "And we shall lead astray the inhabited world for a long season, until the Son of God is stretched upon the cross," directly referencing Jesus, Once again, this is a Christian coded or Christianified text. Maybe a Christian author added these bits later. We never know. For never before you arise a king like unto him, one frustrating us all, whose mother shall not have contact with man, referring to Virgin Mary. Who else can receive such authority over spirits except he whom the first devil will seek to tempt, but will not prevail over? The number of his name is 644, which is Emmanuel, which is another name for Jesus. Wherefore, old King Solomon, thy time is evil, and thy years are short and evil, and to thy servant thy kingdom shall be given. So once again, this bit from this particular demon is just kind of Christian washing this whole legend. And it seems like this was originally a Hebrew text, and then Christians added this bit later on. Because, Solomon is just too good, too OP, so they kind of balance him out with Jesus. Hecate builds like Shiva, says Yugimota. 13 people watching, really nice. Oh. It's midnight already, incredible. All right. Lots of hearts coming up. Donkey Kong Max says, it's kind of like how Romans choked up foreign gods as being regional variants of Greek gods, such as Ptah being Hephaestus. Yeah, but Romans also allowed shrines to Hephaestus or other local gods to be built in Rome or wherever. They did not have this like washing over effect or like complete rebooting, this mania for complete reboots like Christians, or the pervasive annihilationism of the Hebrews, So yeah. All right. And I, Solomon, having heard this, glorified God again. And though I marveled at the apology of demons, I did not credit it until it came true. And I did not believe their words, but then they were realized. So this is a premonition. Apparently Solomon has some bad times, This is foreshadowing. We'll see what happens. And you expect something big and dark to happen, but actually, no, he goes down in the most ridiculous way possible. And there, I say the most realistic way possible. Then I understood, and at my death I wrote this testament to the children of Israel and gave it to them so they might know the powers of the demons and their shapes and the names of their angels, by which these angels are frustrated. And I glorified Lord God, and I commanded the spirits to be bound up with indissoluble bonds. So it's his like deathbed confession. All right. And then I commanded another spirit to come before me. And then came before my face another demon, having the front shaped like a horse, but the behind of a fish. And he had a mighty voice. And he said to me, O King Solomon, I am a fierce spirit of the sea, and I'm greedy of gold and silver. I am such a spirit as rounds itself and comes over at the expenses of the water of the sea, and I trip up the man who sailed thereon. For I round myself into a wave, water elemental, and transform myself, and throw myself on ships, and coming right on them. It's coming right for us. And this is my business and my way of getting hold of money and men. For I take the men and twirl them to the round with myself and hurl the men out of the sea. But for I am not covetous of men's bodies, but I cast them up out of the sea so far. But since Beelzebub, the ruler of spirits of the air and those under the earth, has a joint kingship with us in respect of the deeds of each one of us, I therefore went up from the sea to get a certain outlook in his company. So, this is the personification of maritime peril. He comes up from the ocean, turns into a wave, destroying ships, taking men, but then throwing their bodies on the beach, and basically taking the treasure from all ships that have ever sunk. But he's also a like joint stakeholder, 50-50 stakeholder with Beelzebub. He does come to Solomon's summons. But I also have another character and role. I metamorphose myself into waves and come up from the sea, and I show myself to men, so that those on earth call me Kunospaston, because I assume the human form. And my name is a true one. For my passage up into men, I sent forth a certain nausea, seasickness. I came then to take counsel with Beelzebub, and he bound me and delivered me into thy hands. And I am here before thee because of this seal, and you now torment me. Behold, now, in 2 or 3 days, the spirit that talks with you will fail, because I shall have no water. So it's really interesting. It's almost like these shapes that Solomon encounters are not the demons themselves, but they are like these physical avatars created by these otherworldly spirits. And this demon might die, this body might die, but Kunospaston, the seasickness and storm devil, will keep on living. So, yeah. Ellie Brooks says, the Christianization of pagan gods, holidays, and rituals are just the real-life Marvel MCU Disneyfying of its day. Very, very good assessment. Based. Donkey Kong Max says, it's just the Greek hippocampus, referring to the horsefish symbol. Yes. Absent Fish says, I wonder why horses are so often associated with the sea in Europe and the Middle East. I think horses were meant to signify speed and transport and travel. And it was only natural to like transpose them with the elements. So you have seahorses, but you also have things like Pegasus, which is the winged horse. So, yeah. How many hours does it mean? An hour. Yeah. I think we might finish this. Okay. And I told him, who is the angel who frustrates you? And he answered, by Iameth. I am Meth. And I glorified God, and I commanded the sea spirit to be thrown into a phial, along with 10 jugs of seawater, 2 measures each. So he puts them in an aquarium and sealed them round about the marbles and asphalt and pitch in the mouth of the vessel. And having sealed it with my ring, I ordered it to be deposited in the temple of God in true Ghostbuster style. And I ordered another spirit to come before me. And there came before my face another enslaved spirit, slave, having obscurely the form of a man with gleaming eyes and bearing in his hand a blade. Let's get our props ready. May thy knife chip and shatter. But he answered, I am a lascivious spirit, engendered of a giant man who dies in the massacre in the time of the giants, one of the Nephilim or Anunnaki. And I said to him, tell me, who are you employed upon earth, and where is your dwelling? And he said, my dwelling is in the fruitful places, But my procedure is this: I seat myself beside men who pass along tombs, and ultimately, in untimely season, I assume the form of the dead. And if I catch anyone, I at once destroy him with my sword. But if I cannot destroy him, I caused him to be possessed by a demon and to devour his own flesh and his hair to fall off his chin. This sounds like personification of cancer. But I told him, do you then live in fear of the God of heaven and earth? And tell me by what angel you are frustrated. And he answered, he destroys me, who is to become savior, a man whose number, if anyone shall write it, on his forehead, 644, I think. Let's get this. Wait, let's make certain. Yeah, 644. Let's get this going. I don't want to be assaulted by this demon. So, yeah. All for broadcasting purposes. Oh, not this way. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, now there's no way this demon is going to hurt me now. Cosplay the Eldritch Cosman ritual. Yeah, just take a look. See what a fool I made myself. Yes, screenshot this, clip this. I rest my case. Well, at least I'm safe from the attentions of this demon. So yeah, this is the number of Jesus, and it's gonna prevent this demon who's basically cancer, who lives in graveyards and infects people. Okay, and Solomon, even Solomon is bored of the routine now. Having heard this, glorified Lord God and shut up this demon like the rest. Shut the fuck up! Boom! And I commanded another demon to come before me. And there came before me, my face, 36 spirits, their heads shapeless like dogs, but in themselves they were human in form, with the faces of asses, oxen, birds. And I, Solomon, on hearing and seeing them, I asked them, who are you? But they, on one accord and with one voice, said, we are the 36 elements, the world rulers of this darkness. But, O King Solomon, you will not wrong us, nor imprison us, nor lay command on us. But since the Lord God has given you authority over every spirit, therefore we represent ourselves before you, like other spirits, from ram and bull, from twin and crab, lion and virgin, scales and scorpions, archer, goat horned, water power, and fish. This is the zodiac, of course. So these 36 spirits are a bit different. Solomon does not really imprison them, but they just parade over him. And this is from where we get depictions like this. A lot of weird demons with like faces like birds or men or misshapen dogs just parading around. And yeah, also like birds. So this is like a different section of the book now, and we're just going to speed run through this crowd because they are very systematic and predictable. Customer care skeleton says, better than the tattoo guy who sells crystals downtown. Well, be careful, they're not Kyber crystals. Look what I'm doing for streaming. You can at least go to buy me a coffee and buy me like one coffee, please. I beg of you. Come on. All these theatrics, it's only fair. Are you not entertained? Okay, so Solomon questions every demon, and they're associated with zodiac signs, but also with diseases. So let's just speed run. One of the first is called Ruax, and if he hears the word Michael, imprison Ruax, he gets the fuck out. He causes men to be idle and pillages their brows. Second one, Bar Saphael, and he's imprisoned by Gabriel, and he causes migraine. So be careful. If you have migraine, say Gabriel, imprison Bar Saphael. Third one is called Aratozael. These names are incredible, by the way. He damages eyes, and he's afraid of Uriel, the angel. The fifth one is called Iudal, and he causes ear blockage and maybe, I don't know, Ramsay Hunt syndrome or something. And he only needs to hear these two words, Uruel Iudal, gets the fuck out. Next one is called Sphendoanel, causing tumors of the parotid gland and inflammations of the tonsils. Very specific. And he's scared of Sabrael. Seventh one is called Sphandor, and weakens the strength of the shoulders and causes paralysis of the hands and bruises the bones of the neck and then sucks out the marrow, some bad form of bone cancer. And he's scared of the angel Arael. Then comes Balbal, distorting the hearts and minds of men, maybe a psychiatric illness, and also scared of Arael. Next one is called Kurtael, sends colics in the bowels, all these specifics. So this is like a medical guide now, but the names are very cool. And he's scared of Iaot. Then the 10th has the best name, I think, ever to occur in this book, called Metathiax, causing the reins to ache. And he's afraid of Adonael. Metathiax is an incredible name. It sounds like a name one would give to a giant theropod genus or something like that. What do you think so far, by the way? 11 people watching. Yeah. Then there's Katanikoatel. Katanikotael sounds a little bit like Quetzalcoatl, creating strife and wrong in men's homes and gives them hard temper. So he creates deadbeat dad figures. If anyone would have peace at his home, let him write on 7 leaves of laurel the names of the angel who frustrates me, along with these names, Iae, Ieo, sons of Sabaoth, in the name of great God. Shut the fuck up, Kataniko Tael. And then wash these leaves in water. These are like folk magic remedies and spells and like curse-breaking magic. And there are a lot of like mystical magic tablets like this in the ancient world. In fact, remember H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythology, where Cthulhu is evoked with the words Ia Ia Cthulhu Ftagan, and the Ia Ia bit comes directly from spells like this, where they repeat these senseless names, Iae, Iao, and so on. Then there is Saphatorael, inspiring partisanship in men, delights in causing them to stumble. If you write the names Iako, Ialo, Ioelet, Sabaoth, Itot, and this is incredible, Bay, write these on a piece of paper, fold it up, wear it around your neck, and he goes away. And he dissipates the drunken fit. So Safha-Torael is a kind of drunken deadbeat dad spirit. Okay. 13th one is called Bobel, really cute name, causes nervous illness, but is scared of the name Adonael. 14th one is called Kume Atel, inflicting shivering fits and torpor, scared of the name Zoroel. 15th one is called Roeled, causing cold and frost and pain in the stomach, like poisoning. And hearing, if he hears the word Eox, bide not, be not warned, for Solomon is fairer than 11 fathers. I at once retreat. It's a very, very weird and cryptic phrase. Solomon is fairer than 11 fathers. Like almost certainly a pagan survival. Bober. Yeah, that's the name, Bober. These minor angels are really interesting and cool. 16 says, I'm called Atrax. There's actually a genus of spiders named Atrax. Atrax robustus, the Sydney funnel web spider. Inflicting upon people's fevers, chop up coriander and smear it on the lips. There's no name here. He just needs coriander as medicine. Next one is called Ieropael, sitting on the stomach and causing convulsions in the bath. Maybe like a, what was it called? A stroke angel. But he's scared of the name Iudariz, Sabune Deneoe. And you have to say these 3 times over in the right ear. This is like folk medicine. And we saw stuff like this in the Istanbul folk magic book. Remember that. Next one is called Buldumech, separating wife from husband and bringing about a grudge between them. But you must write these names on a piece of paper and put it in your house, and it basically saves your marriage. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob commends thee. Retire from this house in peace. And being a good boy, Buldumech retires in peace. Next one is called Naoth, sits on the knees of man. Okay. Sit on daddy's lap. Oh, doesn't sound like, what the fuck does it do? Maybe knee ailments. Okay. But if you write Fnunobeol, depart natat, and touch thou not the neck, gets the fuck out of here. Next one is called Mardero. Mardero, the capoeira dancer, sends on man with incurable fever. But if you write on the leaf of a book, Sfener Raphael, retire, drag me not about, flay me not, and hang it on your neck, gets the fuck out of there. Next one is called Alath, causes coughing and hard breathing or respiratory disease. And if you write Rorex, do you prosciut Alat, and put it around your neck, gets the fuck out of here. The next one has a really cool name too. I'm called Neftada. I cause reins to ache, and I bring about dysury. Write on a plate of tin the words Yathot Uruel Neftada, and put it around your loins, and gets the fuck out of here. These disease angels are like a hoot. Which one is your favorite so far? The 24th is called Acton, causing rib and limbic muscles to ache. But take copper from a ship which has missed its anchorage and write on it Marmarot, Sabaoth, pursue Acton. We heard Marmarot and Sabaoth before. And put it on your loins. He gets the hell out of there. The next one is called Anatreth and rents fevers into the entrails. But you only need 2 words to get rid of this one. Arara karara. Arara karara. Abracadabra. Next one is called Enenut, steals away men's minds and changes their hearts and makes a man toothless. So basically the angel of old age and grumpiness. But write Al-Lazul, pursue Enenut on a piece of paper and gets the fuck out of here. Next one is called Fet, and makes men consumptive and cause hemorrhagia. You can basically, if you drink unmixed sweet wine by the 11th eon, I don't know what this means, and you say, I exercise thee by the 11th eon to stop, I demand fat, axio fat, and then give this magic wine to your patient, he gets the fuck out of here. The next one is called Harpax, causes sleeplessness. Well, it's not going to visit me tonight. I'm getting really sleepy, but also having a really, really good time. Anyways, if you write the word kokphnedismos, bind it around your temples, gets the fuck out of there. Next one is called anostar, causes uterine mania in women probably. But put into pure oil 3 seeds of laurel and smear it on, saying, I exercise thee, anostar. Stop by Marmaro. Gets the fuck out of there. The last 13th one is called Alleborit. If you have a fish bone and you cough it out, gets the fuck out of there. Probably directly responsible for the fish bone. Like here you see everything these people used to be afraid of being listed as a demon in a kind of like pseudo-magical, pseudo-medical guide. Next one is called Hefez Mireth and causes lingering disease. Throw salt rubbed into hand into oil and smear it on the patient, saying, Seraphim, cherubim, help me. Gets the hell out of there. The next one is called Ichtion, paralyzes muscle and scared of the name Adonai. The next one is called Akshonion, lies among swaddling clothes of babies, and you must write the name Lykurgos on a fig leaf and take away one letter at a time and write it, reversing the letters. So you just write a word pyramid. Lykurgos, Yikurgos, Kurgos, Yirgos, Gos, Os. And then So, Sog, Sogri, and so on. The next one is called Ototit, causes grudges and fighting. It's got big dominion then, but it's frustrated by Alpha and Omega. Next one is called Phthenoth, casts an evil eye on man and causes much suffering on the eyes. The next one is called Bianakit, has a huge grudge against the body. I lay to waste houses, I cause flesh to decay and all that is familiar. But right on the front door of your house, Malto Ardu Anat, gets the fuck out of there. Okay, so these were the 36 medical demons. Now, after this, we are treated with the fate of Solomon, and it's a long, long chapter. So that means we're going to extend this into a third part tonight because I'm just getting very tired and it will be good to meet for round 3. Kotobuki says, sorry, gotta leave a bit early, but the stream was great. Good night. Thank you. Well, I'm going to go to sleep too. Any last words or comments before we call it a good night? Thanks to you all for your patience and enjoying this, basically. I'm going to sleep like a baby. Customer care says goodbye, goodbye. Well, this was incredible. Thank you so much and good night, everybody. I hope you had a good time If you're watching on YouTube, please once again remember to support me on Patreon or buy me a coffee. As always, this was CM Kozuman. See you in part 3. Goodbye.